Middle of the Pack podcast. Joining me this week is Karen Twomey. Now, we do have a funny episode because we've had a bit of news from Karen. So we have what we recorded originally and what we have now. So we're going to start with Karen talking about her journey to Cork Marathon last year, and then we will have the update from this year's journey to Dublin.
I did the Cork City 10K in June of 2023. So that was my first, since I ran underage. Since that time, that was the first race I've done since I gave up running when I was 17. So like you're looking at maybe 7 years there where I didn't run at all. And I ran that with my friends just for a bit of crack. And it made me remember how much I loved running.
Good.
Because when I left running, I absolutely resented it. I hated it.
Why was that?
I think I'd had like a really successful year and a half underage running. We were cross country champions. I think there was a year where we'd won our own age group, our over age group, and another junior championship, maybe All Ireland. As a team, we'd won it by like 30 odd points.
Okay.
I was used to always getting out of county, whether it was track or cross country, getting out of Munster, being on Munster teams. And in the All Irelands, even on track, say I was coming top 5. So I was used to doing really well, but I think I just wasn't educated about fueling was a huge thing. Naturally, I've always been quite slight. It's my build, it's my family build. We're all like greyhounds. But I think that nearly kind of went into my head where I was it's so great to be so small. You can travel on ground so much faster because you're so light. And when you're 15 and you're listening to that, it kind of incentivizes you that, to be smaller is to be a better runner. So I went through kind of a period of a lot of underfueling, not educated about food, not educated about nutrition, what I should be eating. And eventually I ended up getting a stress fracture in my right hip. I got a stress fracture in my left hip, and I got a stress fracture in my pelvis. So I think I was 16 at that point.
Oh no.
I actually was diagnosed the morning of my junior cert results. So that's how I always remember. So I was I was 16. And I spent ages rehabbing, and I came back running and I fractured my hip again and tried to come back running. And I found it so difficult to get back into running because I've been used to, feeling so good when I was running, feeling so fast, feeling so fit. And then basically starting from ground zero all over again. I really, really mentally, I found it so challenging. I just felt every session I was walking away from the track going, that was horrendous. I felt horrendous. I was walking off easy runs being that was the hardest run I've ever done. I was so used to being able to run with lads that were 4 or 5 years older than me, doing farm sessions out with the UCC gang when I was 15.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I couldn't even run for 30 minutes without being absolutely wrecked. So I kind of went through phases of I was racing, I was walking off the track, I was going into cross country races, I was walking off in the middle of races, which I would never have done ever. And I think mentally I was just so done with it that when I stepped away from it, I absolutely hated it. It left me with such a bad memory as opposed to all the good memories prior to that.
Yeah.
And I kind of just got it into my head. I was running's not good for me. It doesn't suit me. I have a bad mindset towards it. At that point I did have a bad mindset. I'd be racing and I was you're not meant for this. You're not fast enough, you're not fit enough, you're not good enough. And if I wasn't winning, I didn't want to be there, which is terrible. I am still a bit like that. But it got to a point where I was this isn't good for me anymore. Walked away from it. And now in COVID, I did the 5Ks as everyone did. So I did kind of win and out. But again, I'd probably go out for a 5K, go out way too fast because again, I was used to being fit when I was younger and used to going, sure, I used to be able to run a 5K in 19 minutes, 18 minutes if I wanted to. And then I was going out too hard, getting out of breath after a kilometre, again, hating it, never running for a couple of months again. So I kind of went through a cycle like that. And then when we did the Cork 10K in 2023, I ran it with a group of friends. We had great crack. We smiled for every photographer. We just had so much fun that after the race, I was I actually really enjoyed that. It was the first time I'd enjoyed a run since that whole phase of my life. And it was shortly after that then I kind of started to run a little bit more, and I ran the Cork Mac 10K then that night at 8 o'clock on the Friday, and I ran it in 45 minutes, which for someone who hadn't been training
That's very good.
was pretty good. And I remember after that race, then I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe I still have it. Like maybe there's something, you know, that I can still work on and improve on, and I could still do something with this. And it was after that point then I signed up with a coach, and I started training for Amsterdam half marathon. And again with that, I really surprised myself. I think I ran 1:36, maybe, um, which I was delighted with. I think I got into putting like I put down on the form that my estimated finish time was 2 hours. So when I came in at 1:36, I was delighted.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and kind of pleasantly surprised myself. So again after that, then I wanted more, and I then trained for. I can't remember the next half marathon. I think it was Cork probably, but I picked up a nasty injury after Christmas. So this is the other thing. I end up plagued with injuries because of my history with injuries.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've always kind of found it hard to get a good block of training under me without picking up some sort of niggle or issue or something.
And is that what
And
happened? Is that what happened with Cork this year?
yeah. So Cork, I was training. I was about 8 weeks out, and my right Achilles just started getting really cross and angry and painful. I tried to power through it. I was getting physio every week. I was getting it dry needled. I was literally trying to do anything to just prompt it to recover. I was putting in ice every night, but every time I ran, my ankle was swelling to double in size. So I made the decision to drop out, sold my ticket. But on the same day I sold my ticket, I found someone selling a Dublin ticket. So I took that as my sign. I was like, right, Cork is not meant to be, but Dublin is happening. I'm getting on that line no matter what.
And are you enjoying the training block?
100%. Yeah. I think when I went into it, so I had my injury with the Achilles. That kind of went on for a long time. Like, I suppose I didn't help myself because I was still trying to power through it. I was still trying to run. I was probably running a 5 or a 6K and ending up in agony the next day. So I kind of prolonged that injury maybe longer than it should have gone on. So
Yeah.
by the time I recouped, I ran Cork. And then it took me another couple of weeks before I was like, right, I need to actually take this seriously now. I need to start getting coached. I think sometimes when you're so used to like training and being coached, and then you kind of fall out of that habit because of injury or illness or whatever it is, it's really hard to like prompt yourself to reach out again and go, okay, I need someone now to tell me what I'm doing. I need to make a plan. So I started my training probably later than I would have liked. I think I started 12 weeks out, 13 weeks out, which is quite short, I think, for a marathon block. But my fitness is coming back fairly lively. I'm up to like 50, 60 kilometer weeks, which for me would be quite high, given my history. So yeah, I'm up to, I think, a 60-kilometer week this week, and I'm enjoying it. But it's challenging, definitely. Oh my God. So challenging.
And long runs on Saturdays, did you say that earlier?
Yeah, I'm long running on Saturday. So I would have always been a Sunday long runner. I think most people are. But
Yeah.
I've switched to Saturdays, and I'm doing a recovery run then on a Sunday. It just so happened, like, I kind of got a gang together on a Saturday as well. So I started posting it on my Instagram story. I was like, I'm running this many kilometers on Saturday morning. This is the pace I'm going for. If anyone wants to join me, I'm starting at 9 at Cortado or at the Marina Market or whatever. And we kind of ended up having a few people. This is for Cork now. I had a few people would jump in I used to do 10-kilometer loops. So people could jump in for 10K, 20K, whatever it was. And we kind of got a group together. So we have a nice group now on WhatsApp who I would text on a Friday night and say, I'm running this many kilometers tomorrow. Who wants to join? And people could jump in for 5 kilometers of it, 10, 15, whatever it is.
So it's just another running club, basically.
Essentially, yeah. It's a long run club, basically. Yeah. But it helps. Like, running with people is the best. I'm so used to doing all the elite stuff on my own that on Saturday, if I have a group with me, I feel like that 2 hours, 3 hours of running absolutely flies.
And do you know what the longest you'll run on the build up to Dublin? What will be your longest?
I have no idea. I find out the week before what I'm running. So I found out on Tuesday this week what I'm running next week, and it won't be until next week then I find out the following week. So
yeah,
I kind of like, in a way, it helps. Like, it doesn't make me feel overwhelmed. Like, I know I'm running 27 on Saturday, obviously then the following weekend, and then I presume mileage will go back up after that.
And when do you do your sessions then?
So I normally do my session on a Wednesday. So I had a nice routine going when I had my teacher summer where I do my 60-minute run on a Tuesday. I do my session then early Wednesday morning, which is now changed to Wednesday after school, which is a
Yeah.
bit of an adjustment, but we'll get there. My long run Saturday and my recovery run. So it means that I have 2 days recovery after my session, which really suits me. I just find like inevitably I will pick up niggles.
I'm gutted for you.
I know, I think it's funny, like I've gotten so many messages and I think people are like, I'm surprised by how like upset people are for me. And I suppose like I've like tracked my whole journey on Instagram and on TikTok for the last like 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just a shame that it's like kind of come to an end like this, but it is what it is. I'm like, sometimes you just can't control these things.
And what happened?
Um, like I can't really pinpoint exactly what happened. It kind of feels a bit out of the blue, to be honest. So I ran 30 kilometers last Sunday. That was my longest run ever. I was really happy with the run. I did try a new pair of shoes, which I'm not going to say is the reason behind it. Like like I was always going to have to try my race day shoes on a long run. That was always going to have to be the case, you know. So like if it wasn't this week, it was going to be next week. Like it doesn't matter like about that. But I tried them for on the Saturday. I ran 12, so I'd been a little bit sick the week before. I missed one run, just an easy run. Got the new shoes, tried them on the Saturday, felt fantastic in them. Tried them on the long run on the Sunday, and I do feel like about halfway through the run, I was like, maybe I should have just stuck with my Super Blasts. I just think they were a little bit flatter to what I'm used to. Now very comfortable. Like I don't know if that was an issue or maybe I should have just stuck to what I know. I don't know.
What
So
were
that was
they?
fine. I got the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s. So from what I gathered, they're very supportive in terms of a carbon plated shoe. So I tried on loads of different ones. I tried on Asics ones, Adidas ones, everything. And I think just given my injury history, they were the most supportive on my ankle, which is something I wanted. So I got those. I ran in them on Sunday. Could have been a factor in it. But I didn't have any issues on Sunday. I didn't have any issues on Monday. Like my knees were sore, but I think that goes for anyone running long distances. Like my
Yeah, yeah.
knees will be creaking afterwards. Like I did a sauna and a nice bath on Monday night. Felt perfect literally when I woke up Tuesday morning. Went to work on Tuesday and I just took a step when I was in work and I kind of got a pain through my foot. And like there's a tendon that runs along basically where I got the pain. And I've had tendonitis there before. So I just thought it was tendonitis coming back. But the only thing I would say about that tendonitis is it might be sore before I ran, but it would never be sore during my run. Or it might be sore during my run, but never after. So when I ran, it usually used to give it a bit of relief because it would get blood flow through the tendon and it would be fine again and it would kind of come in waves. But I hadn't had any issues with it for the last, say, like 5 weeks. So I thought it was that coming back. That was Tuesday. I ran Tuesday night, of course, ran 10 kilometers. It was sore throughout the run and it didn't go away after. And that was probably like the first red flag. Then I woke up Wednesday morning. It was sore in the morning. But again, you know yourself, like that wouldn't be uncommon with tendonitis. Like it's usually sore in the morning because there's no blood flow going through the tendon. So I was still kind of like, okay, it's definitely just a case of like some bad tendonitis. If I can get through this week and I can get through next week, then I'm tapering. So I'm fine. Wednesday, I went out to do my session. I kind of promised myself in my head, if the warm up didn't go well, that I was going to sack it off, that I wasn't going to do the session. But the warm up was fine. The session was really good. And then on the cool down, it got very, very sore to a point that it actually felt like I was like standing on a little pebble. And that kind of was a big red flag to me because I read a book during the summer about an American runner. She was a professional American runner and she used to get stress fractures in her feet a lot. And I remember when I got that feeling, I'd read in the book that she often felt like there was a stone in her shoe when she felt that it had fractured. So I ended up taking off my shoe just out of pure discomfort and it just didn't give me any relief. Went home Wednesday night, went for an Epsom salt bath. Apparently cures everything. It didn't work. I put on some deep heat onto my foot and I was like, do you know what now? If I just get a good night's sleep tonight, fuel up, drink a good bit of water, get a good night's rest, I'll wake up tomorrow and it'll be gone. Oh my God, I woke up Thursday morning and I stepped out of bed and I literally couldn't weight bear at all. Like, and I went to work and as the day went on, I was kind of weight bearing more. So I like, sometimes it would be sore, sometimes it would be okay, it would be bearable. But like every 4 steps I was taking, it would start to really kick in, which to me is not tendonitis. Like, because normally with tendonitis, the more you move, often the more blood flow gets through the tendon, and it
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
mine was getting worse, like the more time I spent on my feet. So Thursday, I was like, look, I'm just not going to train. I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm not going to run. I'm going to try stay off my feet in the evening. And hopefully then Friday will start improving. And then I'll be back running on Saturday, was what I was hoping to do, another 30 kilometers on Saturday. And then Friday morning, even after resting on Thursday, it was much worse when I woke up. So I saw a physio on Friday after school. He like couldn't really kind of rule it out. So I went to the doctor, who gave me a referral for a scan. I went and got an x-ray in the fracture clinic, and stress fractures often don't show up on x-rays. So I was kind of like, it probably won't show up even if it is one, but it actually did show up. I kind of knew when the lady called me in to look at the scan, she was like, you're going to need to have a look at this, which was never going to be good. So it's stress fracture on the base of my fifth metatarsal, so the outer bone on the outside of my right foot. So
Oh,
yeah. And it's 4
but
weeks
you're
in a boot.
smiling.
I actually, do you know what? I'm like, for me, I'm like, I just need to protect my own peace. Like, I know that I could easily get really bogged down with it. And I just don't want to. Like, it's just a race. Like, I can't spend the next 4 weeks in the pits, like upset and whatever. Like, I'm like, I can't change it now. And I think the one thing with injuries is like, I hate the not knowing. Like all week I was in this panic being like, am I going to run the marathon? Am I not going to be able to run the marathon? What if it's a fracture? What if it's tendonitis and I can't get rid of it on time? And like the not knowing was killing me. Like I was going to bed at night, like in a panic, waking up in a panic, like getting out of bed being like, please don't hurt when I stand on it. And then it was hurting. And then I was getting upset. Whereas when I actually found out, I was like, okay, it's a stress fracture. I'm in a boot for 4 weeks. I definitely cannot run the marathon. And if I do, I'll probably be in a boot for the rest of the year. Once I knew that, I was fine. I think
Yeah.
just having a definitive answer, I was like, okay, it's grand, it's done. Like, I'm not running the marathon. There's no way that I can run the marathon. It's not happening this time. I was fine. But yeah, do you know what? I'm like, it's disappointing. But I think I knew all week, like, I'm fairly tuned in with an injury that you can work through and get out the other side of it. And I'm fairly tuned in when it's not good. And I knew, like, there was something about that cool down on Wednesday that I was like, this isn't right. Like, there's something very painful here. So yeah, it's a shame. But I got further in this block than I got for Cork Marathon. I got to 4 weeks out this time instead of 7 weeks out the last time.
And you
So I'm
did do
hoping
longer.
that in 2026, I will hopefully make it through the peak weeks and the taper and get on the line.
Yeah, and it must be slightly frustrating that you're not sure whether it's your shoes or whether it was just something you stood on or
Yeah, but like I think ultimately, like a stress fracture is going to happen from overuse inevitably. So I'm like, whether I had tried the shoes last weekend or I tried them this weekend, I was going to have to do a long run in them eventually. So whether they had a part to play in it, like it was going to happen regardless. It's an
yeah,
overuse injury. Like I think it would have happened regardless. It's just like, when you think back and I'm like, oh, I should have just stuck to what I know. I should have just stayed in the shoes that I know. It wasn't urgent to try them, but ultimately I was always going to have to try them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like the fact that it just came on when I wasn't running, like it came on when I was just walking around in work. For me, I'm like, it was always going to go. It was just a matter of time and when it was going to happen. And I'm like, I'd rather it happened 4 weeks out than a week out.
oh,
Like
absolutely, yeah, yeah,
thinking the
yeah,
week out that you're going to go on the line and then a week beforehand you end up in a boot. I think that would have been like gutting. Whereas now I'm like, it's 4 weeks out. I'm in the boot for 4 weeks. Like, it's fine. I can come to terms with that. But yeah, like what I'm hopeful for is that I'll get a ticket for next year and hopefully run it next year. But I think at the moment I'm kind of in the headspace of like, if I don't run a marathon in the next 2 years, I won't be devastated. I think maybe it's a sign that like my body's not ready for it at the moment or not able
yeah,
for it at the moment. And that's fine. But I was like, even saying it to my coach, I wouldn't mind focusing on 10Ks and half marathons for the next couple of months and just even getting my mileage consistently at say 50 kilometers a week. And if that's going well for a couple of months, then maybe look at running Dublin Marathon, because it wouldn't be such a shock to the body going into this like 12-week block of like, okay, steady increase of mileage over the weeks, that I'd already be kind of sitting in the 50-kilometer week zone anyway, and then maybe build from there. So it's a possibility, like, but I think this has been a big eye opener for me that I want to focus on halves and tens and just stay as healthy as possible in the next year,
yeah,
hopefully. Like I was kind of mapping out in my notes on my phone earlier, like what do I actually want to do in 2026 in terms of like races and goals. And like I've kind of picked a race now that's like 22 weeks away, which seems excessive. But I was like, by the time I'm out of the boot, it's 18 weeks. By the time I get back on my feet running even 3 hours a week, that'll bring me down to like 12 weeks. So it's not like it moves fairly fast.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then a 12-week block and target a half marathon and maybe look at like getting my PB down a bit, doing some 10K races, some 5 milers, and just getting to a point where I'm consistently running a certain amount of mileage. And then if I think that I'm in a good position to run a marathon, I think then I will go for it. But at the moment, I'm not even like thinking about running a marathon, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I just think that like this for me is definitely a sign that maybe it's just a little bit too much right now. But yeah, it's disappointing. But I'm like, I'm not as devastated as I think people think I am. Like, I know I've been in this boat before. I've been injured before. I've had injuries that are way worse. Like, I'm really lucky in the sense that as far as injuries go, it's like a good injury in the sense that it's probably in the best place to get a stress fracture. It's really high up on my metatarsal, like it's on the base of it. So I think the lower down it goes towards your toe, the harder it is to heal. So I'm like, as far as stress fractures go, I've gotten a pretty good one. Like, it's not long in the boot, it's 4 weeks. I can start rehabbing it once I'm not in pain anymore. So once I can weight bear without any pain, I can start rehabbing. So I'm hopeful that that'll be some point this week or next week, and just get on the bike, get cross training, and hopefully get back running in the next 6 weeks would be the goal. And it's funny, like, how much you miss it. I woke up yesterday morning and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do for the whole weekend? Like, my whole weekend is planned around, I'm running 30K on Saturday and I'm going to do my recovery run on Sunday. And I'll just sit and relax in for the rest of the day. Whereas yesterday morning, I was like, I actually have nothing to do for the whole day.
So what is this mystery race in 22 weeks?
I haven't said it to my coach yet, so it's not confirmed. But I would like to do Blarney Half on the 1st of March.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I had such a good experience there before that I feel like surely that race will go well for me. So it's in 22 weeks and that's where my PB is from. So I would love to either come close to my PB, maybe run 130. I don't know, will I be like ready to break my PB after this injury, but I would like to come back in around 130. I have a few races mapped out. I actually have a list of them. This is what I've spent the weekend doing with all my extra time. It's on my phone. Blarney Half, the 1st of March. I would like to do the Cork 10 or the half, which is the 31st of May this year or next year. It's not in June.
Okay.
So potentially that. Maybe the Clontarf half on the 4th of July.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
I'd like to get myself running in Dublin at some point. I feel I owe it to myself. Potentially the Cork City 10K in August. There's no set date for that yet, but I like that one. That's the one
Yeah.
for the Kings. Charleville Half Marathon again for redemption. And
Youghal is nice.
Youghal, yeah, it's actually funny. It's not listed on, do you know, there's a Running in Ireland website with all the running.
Yeah.
Not listed there. And I think there's a Middleton 10 miler as well, which wasn't listed. So they're all options. And then if all is going well, but I'm not set on it, Dublin full. But that's only if I can consistently maintain about 50 kilometers a week across a couple of months and some good racing. Then I would consider doing a full. But I'm not in any rush anymore to do a full.
We did the half and the full, so we were kind of thinking about doing the 10K this year.
Yeah,
But
I did 10 and it's a nice route, like, and I just think it's a little bit less pressure, especially if it's going to be very hot again, is the only thing that kind of puts me off running Cork.
yeah.
Anyway, it's not on the cards, but the half as well, if it's hot, it can be a tough one. Whereas the 10 is like a nice route, it's nice and early. So potentially.
There's Mallow do a 10 mile. Kinsale 10 mile. They're
Yeah, and
nice
I've actually
races.
never done that. There's Dungarvan as well, but I think that might just be a little bit too early. I think it's the 1st of February or the 2nd of February. And I
how
just
are
think,
you in the cold?
yeah, fine. I'm an asthmatic, like, but I usually tolerate it well. I actually, funnily enough, I find this season the hardest, switching from summer heat to colder winter. My asthma will flare up a bit. I just find the change in weather always really tricky, and I always get sick around this time of year as well. And then once it's into the cold, I'm fine. And again, when it's adjusting back into like summer season, I find that hard as well.
And that can be funny for like, I often can get a niggles in my back in that kind of crossover seasons, and I wondered whether crossover isn't great for, I don't know, running muscles. I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny, like, again, we just have
It
to
doesn't
adapt.
cause a stress fracture anyway.
No, it doesn't. Running is good, but I think when you're in intense training blocks,
Yeah.
it can do the opposite then.
Yeah.
But honestly, it all comes down to like your nutrition, your sleep, like your stress levels, your recovery ability, like things you're doing to recover. And like I was only saying this to my coach, he was kind of listing out the different factors that can cause a stress fracture, which I totally agree with. But like I genuinely believe that I did everything on this block correctly. Like I don't go out at night, I don't go drinking, I try to sleep 9 hours every night. I eat really well. Like I've put on weight since I started training for this block because I've been so conscious about my food and fueling and my nutrition and making sure I'm eating enough that I genuinely feel like I've done as much as I possibly could. But in saying that, because I didn't have a great relationship with food when I was growing up and running, I do think that I probably have done some damage to definitely like my bone density. And it's probably some knock-on effects of that, which I always think is a shame. Like, had I had more knowledge when I was younger about the importance of fueling myself properly, I wouldn't have as many knock-on effects now. So like I get injured frequently, but it's because of that, I think. And I think that's kind of a bitter pill to swallow then, because I'm like, had I known when I was younger the effect it would have on me now, I would never have done that. I wish that, and I always say it, I'm like, I wish there was more knowledge for younger people doing athletics of the importance of fueling. Like, I think that anyone who's young and in athletics, there should be nutritionists on board, like dietitians, like telling like teenagers the importance of actually fueling your body for your training, because like I had no idea, and like I didn't know the damage that I was doing at the time. And
But even
now,
I don't think it's just athletics. Well, he's 17 now, but he was playing soccer today, and he took a shot and his calf. It didn't pop, but it was just kind of niggling him afterwards. I was going, "What warm up were you doing?" And you should see them, like they haven't just kind of jogging up and down the pitch, and they don't do anything properly.
and that's the
Uh,
thing. It's like if it could be ingrained into teenage kids and teenagers at a younger age, like we'd be able to transition into sport as adults much easier.
yeah,
If it's not taught to you when you're younger, like it sets you up badly. Like I always say, like I just wish that someone had given me the knowledge, or someone had pulled me aside and said, listen, like there's a problem here. Like, you're not eating enough to fuel yourself.
but would you
Like,
have listened?
it's hard to know. Like, I think by the time that I eventually was pulled on it, it had gone too far. Like, I was too deep into it at that point then to listen to anyone, because I was winning medals. I was, winning
Yeah,
races. It was getting faster and faster and faster. So I was like, well, whatever I'm doing, it's working. And like, I probably got overly confident in that then, like, oh, sure, what do they know what they're talking about? Like, I'm winning races. So obviously I'm grand.
yeah,
And then my body broke down. And now I'm dealing with the after effects of it when I'm older. And now I'm doing everything right. I'm trying to do everything right. Like, I'm so, like, my nutrition is, honestly, for this block, it was perfect. Like, I couldn't have done better. Like, and it's a shame then that I can do everything right now, but I'm getting the knock-on effects from when I was younger.
yeah. Because I know, like, no, my kids wouldn't. I tell them all the time the things I wish I knew. Things I wish I knew that I know now, and training that I knew that I should have done then, and they couldn't give a monkey's, like, because they're invincible.
It'll come a point where they will.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, but it's too
And
late
I'm looking
then.
forward to some moment. And it can be too late, but like you would hope that in sports, like from what I know, so many of the girls that I used to run with when I was younger have experienced something very similar. And a lot of them don't like do running at all anymore in any capacity. Like, and I just hope that eventually, or that it has already started to change, because that's why I think so many females then end up leaving sport, because they have a negative experience as a teenager
Yeah,
and they don't go back to it then. And it's a
and
shame.
it's
Like,
not. And it's not criticizing the volunteer coaches or the people that are trying to do it, but unfortunately, they have the knowledge, and the kids will listen to them. To be honest, more than they'd listen to me.
100%. Yeah. Because they probably look up to them,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
have other athletes come in and speak to them.
yeah,
Like, I don't know, like, if I was a teenager, I'd be much more inclined to listen to an athlete who was in their 20s, probably, who was doing well. Like, I'd be inclined to listen to them and their advice, or if they'd had an experience that they were able to share it. I don't know. It's definitely like food for thought. And I've read a good few books of like female athletes who have had very similar experiences. So yeah, you can only hope that it has started to change, or it will change. But who knows?
Well, the important thing is to keep positive, and it's great that you're smiling and you're thinking positively and acting positively and planning ahead, because even when you finish a marathon, there's still that downward spiral of what am I going to do next? I've come out of a block, but what you're doing is the right thing to do, is list and plan and have something to
Really
look
good
forward to.
timeline. Yeah. But that's the thing, I'm like, you just have to keep looking forward. Like, there's always going to be like disappointments in sport. There's always going to be letdowns. But even thinking about it now, I'm like, oh my God, getting on the line for that first race back is going to be like the best feeling ever. No, thank you so much for having this snippet to catch up on, because I was actually only thinking, I was like, the episode is going to come out on Wednesday and then we're going to have to do an update to be like, actually, I'm not running. So it's nice to kind of finish it off to be like, it didn't go to plan. But there's some positives to take.
All right. Well,
Thanks
thanks
so
for your
much.
time again.
Best of luck with the rest of training.
All right. Thank
Keep
you.
me updated.
Yeah.
Thanks,
We'll
bud.
see you soon.
Bye bye. See you soon.
Bye. And that's Karen Twomey, and I think she's very positive still, and it's great that she's got a plan worked out for what she's going to do over the next 22 weeks before her next race. And I think that's what you need to do if you have a setback, or you have a do not finish, or you have a setback in any of your running journey. Start planning for the next one. Put aside the mind monsters, put aside all these things that can negatively impact your running journey. So fair dues to Karen, and look forward to hearing her journey again. You can follow us on all the social media platforms. You can like and subscribe to this podcast. I really hope you enjoy listening to it. Next week we have Sinead Power, and she is more of a back of the pack runner, as she says herself. So yeah, a very interesting guest, and I have to say, for me, was hugely motivational for me in my running journey. So I'm glad to have her on, so you can listen into that. As I said, follow us on all the social media platforms. Like and subscribe at Middle of the Pack Podcast. But for this week, thanks for listening.